So what we're going to do is we're actually going off of CBS's free agent tracker because they conveniently list all the free agents in their order of like how good the person is, and then say the deal. But the thing about this is it doesn't say fully non-guaranteed years or like option years. So the first person on this list has not yet signed a deal, and that is Kawhi Leonard. I mean, whatever. We don't really need to talk about him.
But why? What's the holdup?
I don't think anybody knows. I don't know. I haven't seen. So the funny thing about Kawhi is it's if you ever needed evidence of the fact that all of the news that you get, or not all of the news that you get, I shouldn't say all, a lot of the news that you get from your favorite newsbreakers comes from agents. Kawhi and his people famously do not talk. So all of the lack of stuff you're having coming out about Kawhi and why he hasn't signed his contract yet, it's because they don't talk. And the Clippers don't know what to say because what the hell are the Clippers going to say?
Man, look, Hall of Famer, top whatever player all time. I can't live like this. I just, like, on a personal note, need communication in my life. I feel like, if it was our problem, I'd feel like we'd deal with it and maybe even defend it. But now that it's not.
Well, Bobby Marks has been on top of this in saying that at this point, financially, for him to sign a 4-year extension would be a terrible financial decision. He's assuming it's going to be a 1+1. So 1 year guaranteed with a 1 year player option. And essentially Kawhi Leonard may be getting a max contract to not play basketball next year, which will be amusing.
Which I guess there's no way the Clippers, and we could move on after this, but there's no way the Clippers are like, we actually don't want to risk you taking a 1 year deal, getting paid to not play. They can't. And then you leave.
They can, like, that would be an utter disaster given everything that they have given up to put this together. They have no flexibility.
You're not wrong.
You know, it's like you're not.
Like what's the alternative? Yeah, you're right.
Well, there is no alternative because you would say, okay, let Kawhi walk or I guess, but you can't. It's the thing. Can't even sign a trade. Well, I guess you could sign and trade Kawhi if you're bringing back whatever. We don't need to get into this. The Clippers need him back, and I'm sure they want him back. The next deal I think is the first one these are all interesting. This is particularly interesting. So Chris Paul, 36-year-old Chris Paul, signed a 4-year deal for $120 million. That isn't really a 4-year deal. It's a 3-year deal because the last year is a team option. So I'm, for all intents and purposes, going to refer to this as a 3-year deal for $90 million. But even that's not accurate because the third year is only guaranteed for about $15 million. So you could look at it like this. He's guaranteed 2 years at $30 million a pop. If he breaks down over the next couple of years and the Suns tell him, okay, we want you to walk away, they can waive him, only be on the hook for $15 million, and then I guess theoretically stretch that $15 million over the course of 3 years. Right. I'm sure they're hoping they don't have to do that. I just want to say, I'll be honest. I know he's 36 years old. I think there are a lot of Knicks fans out there who were like, throw Paul the max for 3 years.
Yeah.
Which would have been 3 years, $120 roughly $million, probably with no outs. So I think the Suns actually did pretty good here.
They want to talk about not having a choice. Like they were the ones that had to do this. And the fact that they in 2 years can reassess what he looks like and what the type of player he's going to look at 38 years old is actually a very smart deal. Like for all the shit we give Sarver, and I think this is a testament to the overrated, I don't want to say overrated part that owners play, but like because a bad one can be bad. But yes, we've seen like the thing about the Knicks people always said about Dolan is like, never tell him he has a hockey team because they're really successful. When you have the right guy running the organization, good things can happen. And James Jones has done an incredible job since he's been in charge over in Phoenix. And this is a testament to that.
And it's also another situation where they really didn't have a choice. Whatever Chris Paul wanted, Chris Paul would have gotten, because next summer extensions are going to, and I don't know if they're going to negotiate those this summer. They can. Extensions are going to kick in for DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges. And those are going to combine for, I would say, in the neighborhood of $50 million a year. And Booker's already extended. So
when is the alleged Booker opt out where he could be a free agent?
You know what? I actually need to look that up. I think it may be coming sooner than we think. I'll look that up. Well, I will give you a chance to open on the next guy, Kyle Lowry, who is 35 years old.
Yeah, it's 390, right?
It's 3 for 90, which, this is one of those funny things where I feel like the development of the take cycle is interesting because Kyle Lowry did not have a great year this year. I mean, he was excellent. He was wonderful, but this was the first year, and I'm not the first person to say this, that he showed some slippage. And yet, towards the end of this year, everybody was like, what's Kyle Lowry going to get? Is he going to get 2 for 50? Could he get 2 for 55? I mean, 2 for 60, that'd be a lot. But I don't know that 3 for 90 was ever on the table. And then fast forward a couple weeks and months, and everybody's like, oh shit, Kyle Lowry's the best free agent on the market. Huh? Yeah, I guess. Okay. Well, I guess we just got to pay him. And Miami's getting praised for this. And I don't know what grade I would give this. If you're Miami and you have Jimmy Butler, he just signed a new extension, we should say. I guess you kind of have to do this too, right?
And that's why Miami is getting praised for this, because they have a window with however long Jimmy Butler has left. And regardless of, apparently the Heat have refuted any talk that they were even in the James Harden sweepstakes, but you could, whatever they want to say, the rumor is that they wouldn't include Tyler Hero in any package because they think he's Klay Thompson. That might just be how Miami Heat fans feel about the situation, or felt about the situation back in this January when all this talk was happening. The point is, I mean, they now realize they have a window because they made the finals in the bubble. And as much shit as I gave Miami last year, I still respect that they're like a solid team, and Lowry makes them better. Bring Oladipo back. If you get anything out of him, that is a good deal. You've sang the praises of Duncan Robinson. That's a team that got better. However, I don't have them better than Brooklyn. I don't have them better than Milwaukee.
Depends what Lowry is. What version of are you getting? I mean, this is honestly the same conversation we're having with Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker
at significantly less money,
significantly less money. It's $16 million versus $90 million. And hold on, one other thing. You could look at me and say, well, Kemba didn't have the season that Lowry had last year. Lowry was better than Kemba. Go look at Lowry last year, and then go look at Kemba's actual numbers last year. I think the perception, I didn't mean to turn this into a Knicks standing session, but I think the perception of Kemba has changed because the Celtics paid a first-round pick to dump him. But I don't know, man. Anyway, so yeah.
Miami had a window. The Knicks didn't have a window, and to relate this to the Knicks, I know a lot of Knicks fans. I mean, our group chat, the one move overall, because all it costs them is money, is Kyle Lowry, and that's something Knicks fans were very interested in. At 3 for 90, that now gives you a guy that has to be your starting point guard over the next 3 years because of how much he's making. The politics,
and one of your 3 best players.
Right. So the politics of that makes it that if a guy pops, or if Derrick Rose is playing well, you're not sitting Kyle Lowry down the stretch. So now I'm much better off that if Lowry starts to show regression, you can now start to go to alternatives. He can switch, if Kemba Walker, if Quickly's taking a role, or if Derrick Rose is the hot hand, you play who's good down the stretch. And it's a good point. The Heat had to do it because this was their only avenue to get better in the Jimmy Butler window. And now that's their team. That is their peak. They're praying for Brooklyn to get hurt. They're praying that whatever happened in the bubble against Milwaukee is duplicated. And they're playing that Tyler Hero looks any hint of what he was in the bubble going forward.
And I don't think those are ridiculous hopes, if I'm being honest. I think there's a chance. Look, if you told me the Heat made the finals one of the next 2 years, I wouldn't be shocked. Keeping with they had to do a train.
I won't go into, I would, but I won't. We don't have to spend too much. I think that's one thing I stand firm on, is that I think what we saw in the bubble wasn't real. And as far as the Heat go, I think what we saw out of them was a little farce, and what we saw,
that's fine.
What we saw is that they could be the 4th best team and then losing 6 to a team that's good. you know?
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe we'll look back on these two years in totality. The Suns making the finals, the Bucks winning the championship, and we'll say this was. But I don't know. The NBA.
I'll eat crow. I will eat crow if the Heat do it. I just the Heat culture. I mean, we don't have we don't have to get into my haterade on the Miami Heat. But Dwayne Wade retired, and that was always my thing. That Heat culture was they drafted Dwayne Wade. So
I think that's fair because he attracted Shaq wanted to go there because of him, and
LeBron, his best friend. Yes. So without Dwayne Wade or a bubble, what if the Heat won 2 playoff series against the Knicks?